So one of the common rules to follow is make sure that you are mixing two different patterns that are very distinct from each other. So try to not mix patterns that kind of have a similarity to it or are pretty common with each other. Try to pick two patterns that are very distinct. So this does not mean that you can't mix polka dots with polka dots or florals with florals, or you absolutely shouldn't mix anything similar to each other. You can, but the golden rule is if you mix two very different patterns together that are very distinct, that usually works out for the better. So the first thing you want to look at when you're mixing two different patterns is color. So look at the colors of the two or three different types of patterns you are trying to match and see, did these colors end up working together? Do they complement each other? A good rule of thumb is to look at the color wheel, and two colors that are beside each other on the color wheel usually work together, or are close to each other on the color wheel work together. Colors that are opposite each other on the color wheel are complementary colors. They also work together. Look at those signs on the color wheel, and if the colors are opposite or close to each other, then they usually complement each other. Therefore, if the colors complement each other, they work together, then likely the two patterns will work. So let's take a look at these examples here on the right. The outfit on the right side here definitely does not work. So the top here has a variety of different colors, and the bottom also has a lot of different colors, and seemingly there's just too much going on. There are too many colors on the top and too many colors at the bottom. There's no one color to tie in the whole look together. So you're mixing patterns with varying different color palettes, and there's no two or three distinct colors that end up working together. So the rule of thumb is if the two color palettes don't really complement each other or work together, what you can do is pick a pattern that has subdued colors. By subdued colors, I mean neutral colors like black and white, for example. So notice how the look completely changes here on the left. So we have a busy skirt with a variety of different colors, and we have a top here that has these subdued neutral colors like black and white, and ultimately the patterns end up working together. So therefore, if you're ever mixing two distinct patterns and one pattern is colorful and nothing seems to be working with that pattern, pick another pattern that is subdued in terms of color, like for example, black and white, you can never go wrong with. So if black and white is something you don't want to do and you want to mix a different type of color with one of your patterns, a good way to do this is again to look at that color wheel, see which colors complement the color of your pattern. Again, if it's on the opposite, it is a complementary color. If it's beside of it, it will definitely work. So for example, here we see a look with the bottom being purple and the top being green. So purple and green are complementary colors, and a good way to mix and match these patterns together is to pick a darker shade of one of the colors in your pattern. So for example, here, the top is a dark, deep green color, ultimately making the two patterns work together. On the other hand, you can definitely choose patterns that are in the same color palette. That will most definitely work. For example, you can pair pastels with pastels. You can pair neutrals with neutrals. You can pair green tones with green tones, purple tones with purple tones. And if you are pairing two different colors, make sure that the colors, of course, complement each other, and make sure you check out that color wheel if you have any hesitations. Something else you can do when you're mixing matching different types of patterns together is to make sure that the two patterns you're mixing both have a color in common. So there's a color that's shared in one pattern with the other pattern. So what it ends up doing is it ends up balancing the look with that one middle color. By middle color, I mean a color again that ends up balancing out a look. So for example, here we see a look with two very distinct patterns mixed together, and these two patterns both share something called that middle color. So I want you to pause this video and take a moment to figure out what that middle color is. So the middle color in this look, as you may have guessed, is black. So you see the background of the skirt is black, the stripes on the shirt are black, the blazer has been added to subdue and tone down the look, also happens to be black, and the shoes are black. So ultimately, if this model didn't have a blazer on, for example, this look would still work with the stripes and the florals because there is a common color shared between the two patterns, and that pattern is black, which is the middle color. So in this look here, the middle color, aka the color that ends up tying in the two patterns together, is black. Black is a neutral color, so you'll find that this color is often used in patterns if one wants to achieve a more toned down look. So in this look here, the middle color is cream. Cream is yet another neutral color, and as you can see in this look, the color is balanced throughout the entirety of the outfit.